In the quiet moments before the world wakes up, there's a place where pain meets peace, where every breath feels like a prayer and grief stands still. We carry the weight of what was and search for meaning in the smallest things. And sometimes all it takes is one moment to remind us we're still here, still healing.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About It podcast. You guys know who it is. This is Tony Lynch. I'm the host of this podcast. And yes, we're your number one podcast for bringing you stories around death, dying, and grief, all the messiness that comes in between, with some amazing people out here changing people's lives one heartbeat at a time. Now, before I bring on my next guest, I would like to say that this is a live stream. So if you have any questions or comments, put them in the comments section. We'll be sure to answer them as we go. One other thing, this is for educational purposes only. So now, without further ado, help me welcome my next guest, Coach Brian, to the show. Coach Brian, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Tony. Appreciate you.
Man, I'm excited. I'm really, really excited, man. And that smile, that energy that you have, man, I can't wait to just indulge, just be a part of all of this today. So before we get started, man, introduce yourself to the audience. Tell people who you are, where you're from, and about the work that you do.
Yeah, definitely. What brings me to this call in the first place, right? Well, I am Coach Brian Parana. I'm 42. I married my high school sweetheart, Amber. I've known her for 3 decades now. And my life partner, right? I have four kids, excuse me. Can't leave one of them out. 4 kids, 15 to 10, 3 boys and girls. We try and provide as much opportunities around their school, sports, extracurriculars. We are a very busy on the go family. I've had the pleasure of being able to even visit all 50 states, multiple countries, continents. My wife is a travel advisor and loves to travel. I've had a significant amount of life experience that I offer up to the podcast, to my clients. And what I do on the business end is I focus in the last 23 years in the health, nutrition, fitness industry. Personal trainer, gym owner. I have now do a lot of remote health nutrition coaching, and even have an exercise degree, nutrition degree. What I focus on now is men, helping them to, in a 100-day program, a transformation experience, not just, hey, here's your calories, your food, or whatever. I want to create a group, a cohort, a brotherhood of men that come together, like-minded individuals that thrive with health being a big, major part of it. Because the guys that I connect closest to, we have a very strong fitness connection, and then we all have 3 or 4 kids or more, and most of us are business owners, and we're really connected that way. There you go. That's the call to rise.
I love that, man, and thank you for the work that you do. As being someone who works in the men's grief field myself, I understand the importance of men taking care of ourselves, right? Just not just mentally, but physically, emotionally, spiritually. All of these different things play a factor in how we develop as men in the world, right? And so let's talk a little bit more about that. What as men ourselves, what are some of the challenges that men face as we begin to get older?
Right. Well, I look around. I'm in my young 40s now. I guess I'm approaching that midlife crisis event, an episode of. I don't know about you, Tony, but in my life has been stacking responsibility. It seems 1 week at a time, 1 year at a time, I have more responsibility, more people I have to care for, or obligations that I have to be present for. It's very easy for me to get lost in all of those and not actually have any type of connection to any other guys. My father isn't really participating in the last 20 years. So if I just focus on my family or my business, I'm not doing anything else. There's no extra connection to other men in similar situations. I see it across clients, and when I hear their stories and their situations around health is getting out of control, they're gaining 20, 50 pounds. but they're back end, they're juggling the same things, the business of the day-to-day life, and they focus on those areas, but they have sacrificed their health in order to accomplish that. And so those are some of the things that I'm seeing is this stack of responsibilities and lack of focus on self-care, not because you don't like to work out or don't know that you should do it or something. It's just not a priority on some level, or the days just always gets away from you.
That I definitely understand. For a while there, when I first started doing this work, I focused. I focused almost 20 hours a day just
Hmm.
doing this thing. Right now, it was a lot easier for me because I don't have anyone here, so it's just me.
Right.
But I did fall short in a lot of different areas, though.
Sure.
Eating the right nutrition, getting sufficient amount of sleep, even connecting with other people.
Right. Entrepreneurship's lonely at
It's a
times.
lonely road, man. It
Uh-huh.
is
Business
definitely,
ownership. Yep.
yeah, they don't talk about that a whole lot,
They
do they?
don't. No, you actually you have to seek it out to be able to hear it and listen to it. If you don't, you just feel you're on an island by yourself.
Hmm. Yeah. I felt that way a few times, even now, where I find myself drifting in as I take on a lot more responsibilities,
Right.
right? But I also take that time out to to make it to be intentional with connecting with other people,
Right.
right? To have conversations and
Right.
things like that, and possibly build good friendships with people.
Right.
Now, that's the hardest part, especially when you're so focused on doing other things. You're like, I don't have time for this, right?
Right.
And relationships and things like that all fell through the wayside. And I was just like, you get to a certain point, you're just sitting back going like this, like, where did the last 6 years go? Right?
Yeah, I look back. Time is accelerating in my world. Wait a minute,
Yeah,
my head's laying on the pillow again. What happened to the day?
yeah. So now, which leads me to my next question.
Okay.
With the age of social media and technology that we live in now, does it make it easier to connect with other men across the world on a more personable level, or are we missing the mark by not going out and trying to connect on that personal level,
Well,
like in person?
this is going to be a double-edged sword type answer,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
Because we're connected together because of technology, or I would never, or the likeliness that I would come across Tony Lynch would be few and far in between, right? Just because of
Right.
proximity, or how much of a marketer, or I was a marketer to get my name out, or my thing out into the world. So through technology, we are able to connect, right? I was able to connect with one of your friends, Jay Lewis, last weekend,
Mhm. Yes.
and I this is such a small world. I didn't know you guys were both connected, and then all of a sudden, or it's a circumstance, it's like, oh, cool, all right, man, wow, the world's starting to shrink already. Geez, so I feel blessed in that ability because both of you guys are doing really great things with your areas of focus, especially around men, and I want to join the party. That's why I'm here. Like, hey, let me come on and talk a little bit and see if I can
Right.
add some value to people. But the connectiveness, I even saw this the other day. I was from people who spend a lot of time talking about these. Say like James Clear or something on power of habits, right? I could totally consume some of his content to how can I take what he does and take it into my life. But what came up is Chris Williamson, who's, if you're in that circle, he's definitely gotten big on YouTube and podcasting and all this. But he said he was talking about this picture of people that got their phones in their hands CGI'd out of the picture. And you just see people staring at their hands
Mhm.
in all weird positions, sitting, standing, head. This couple was back to back, and they both were looking like this at their hand, and that's the crux of technology in this situation. Of you can go very broad, but never not very deep, and that's the challenge. But again, we're connected, and I'm seeing you pop up in my thread. I'm giving you likes and hearts for the things that you're doing, and we're starting to develop a relationship in sense. So it's really tough if you're not actively doing it. It's easy to turn those. that social media time into just doom scrolling, right? Your thumb is just going, you get very little back on ROI.
That's very, very true. Now, as someone who has been in the fitness industry and still is in the fitness industry,
Hmm.
when it comes down to taking care of ourselves on a more soul level, where does the fitness industry tie into that, far as well-being and things like that, and the work and pertaining to the work that you do as well?
Well, one of the reasons why I did the call to rise for men and having small groups of cohorts of what I call the brotherhood is that men can then connect. We're using fitness and exercise and activity as a way to connect because they like doing it, even from maybe their high school days of playing a sport or something, and then maybe a bit more in college. And then it slowly drifts as they, again, gain responsibility in the workplace or in career or with family. And they slip away and they just always talk about the good old days of whatever they were. But this connection, even when I own gyms, you could rely on the connection of people and proximity of exercise to develop relationships. My gym at the time when I actually sold and left because there's just other opportunities, but we had 300 members. There's a lot of connection that was happening. We wanted to be that second home where people would come and enjoy participating in exercise. It didn't matter how fast or strong or fit or unfit you were, you showed up, people were happy to see you, and you developed relationships through exercise. And I've seen this time and again, even back in my day, the shake and bake. I had a small group personal training boot camp thing. I call it a shake and bake. This is back Talladega Nights with Will
I love
Barrels,
it.
where
I
where
love
I
it.
pulled it, where I pulled it from. But Shake and Bake, and it was a fun name, and I had this core group of people, and again, they developed relationships with each other, and it was a fun experience to spend together. So I think fitness can do that, connect you, and it takes out the layer of it quickly gets you deeper, meaning that we don't have to talk about the weather. We can just talk about the workout, and then all of a sudden we're talking about who you are, what you do, your family, and different things. What are you doing this weekend? And you start connecting with this person on a more natural relationship, a friendship, in a way.
Okay. And how? Okay, so how are you combating today's? Um, I want to say I'm just gonna say situation, because what I see a lot of times is that you see people filming in the gyms, right? They filming their workouts. You got
Right,
influencers that are in there, but
right.
there seems to be a lot of pushback from people that are filming these individuals, and they catch somebody in there, right? Or just staring in their direction, and they automatically want to come after them. Oh, look at this person. They are creeping. What I've seen on out here a lot of the times is that men are separating themselves from the gym when there's multiple women in there now,
Sure.
right? And so how do we combat that to let people know that the gym is a social place? It is a
Right.
place that you can come, you can meet other people that are on the same path as you,
Hmm.
that are have the same goals as you. But most importantly, it's a place of getting yourself together for you and no one else. Because a lot of times these people are just going, "Oh, I'm just doing it for views and likes and things like that." And I
Right.
think people are missing the mark of
Right.
what the fitness industry is actually about, right? What these places actually mean to people like ourselves,
Right.
right? This is a place where we can go to war. This is therapy, right?
Yes, yeah.
You know what I'm
I'm in
saying?
I'm in my battleground, my little
I
battle
already
zone.
see it.
Yeah, I'm in
I'm
here.
already looking. I'm like, you know what? I wish I was there with you, because we definitely have some
we,
fun.
we got a workout and a podcast.
Man, we can do both, right? We can
Yep.
do both. We
Yep.
got the little dummy back there. I'm like, you know what? A couple
Yep.
elbows, two and
Boom,
two.
boom. Yep. We got the dumbbells, the bumper plates. Let's have a lot of
Oh
fun.
man, look, yeah, my heart is over here, just like, ooh, that's nice. I can go
Yeah.
and be a part of that right there. But yeah, back to the question. Don't
Yeah,
don't get me started on your gym, man. I love your gym.
yeah. Thank you, thank
But
you.
what, how can we push
Yeah,
back against that to open more doors to push the influencers out
right,
to say there's a time and a place for this, right?
right,
and
right,
and right now you're using it in a way to bash other people, and we're
right,
not going to stand for it.
right. Well, first off, the first thing that comes to mind is that the influencers are such a small percentage of people who go to the gym. It's the sliver of the gym population itself. They're just the
Right.
ones that are the loudest and that you are
Okay.
visibly seeing on a more regular basis. That's not the common gym atmosphere that you're going to roll up in any gym, right? Now, certainly there might be certain places that are more known for that, and then you as the say gym goer need to determine if that bothers you or not, and to what degree. For me, I just walk in and I probably socialize with the person. Oh, what you doing? And I do the same thing and probably build a connection with them, but someone else could just be really annoyed that they're taking up space. So um, some of it goes falls on the actual establishment, the facility itself, and allowing or not allowing that. And if there's enough voice from the community, then you could probably get it shut down. If this person comes in is always spending 45 minutes in the dumbbell area taking he's got the film crew or over there or something looks like a Hollywood production, then chances are that's not going to fly for too long if there's too much, you know, challenge with the membership as well. Those are some of the first things that come to mind when you pose that question. There certainly is some relevance to have a shared space. There are a lot of them. Most of them are doing it out of trying to connect with others, doing form, spot, educational videos and such. They have good intentions. They're not just trying to sell you snake oil or something on the internet as well. So that would be also again that's the majority of if you were to see that happening, as opposed to that very sliver of people that were actually going all in with it.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's talk about something that's up my alley, and we've talked about this before. Let's talk about fitness, nutrition, and
Yeah.
grief, right? And what can we do? How can we do more to help men um, learn how to grieve properly, but also taking more responsibility for themselves, holding themselves accountable
Right.
um, as we navigate this, you know, navigate our traumas and our tragedies.
Right. Mother Nature, there we go. Mother Nature's best remedy for depression, for low energy, for sadness is movement. And we want to focus in on that. Move more, you always feel better afterwards, right? Everyone leaves the gym usually saying, "Hey, I feel a lot better than I did going in."
Right.
And we want to highlight that as the first thing. Number two is it provides a level of discipline and self focus that you can stick to a training regimen and go to the gym at a certain time or these many times of the week to then go have a stress relief session to be able to dampen some of the challenges or the responses to the challenges that you're experiencing, right? We're all going to have challenges in life. It varies from one individual to another, and their reactions or their abilities to react based on their nature and nurture, right? Their self personalities, their the way they think, the way they're wired in a sense. On the other end of it is how they were raised, what type of environment they are, who the people are around them, and how they influence them. These are all things that shape an individual, and being able to go in, exercise to dampen some of the responses. It's eh, you you get an email it's you don't really like, you don't want to shoot one right back. You want to give it some space,
Right.
and come down from it. And this can be that space to be able to release some of the tensions. And what in some of my training, I call it the happy place. Let's go to your happy place. It could be a physical place like my barn gym here. It could be a mental place, of a place in your life where you experience serenity and peace and happiness. It could be a real place. For me, Yellowstone Artist Point or Miners Beach at Pictured Rocks in Upper Peninsula, Michigan. There's North Shore, Oahu, down in Hawaii. Those are three real quick ones off the top of my head that give me that peace, that serenity, that happiness that I can then mentally transport myself into that time, that energy, and what was happening around my family, because we did all that with my family. And I can then come back into this situation a little more relaxed, a little more calm, a little more resourceful to find the answers inside of what's going to best serve me and which direction do I head while I'm challenged with a traumatic situation, a loss of some kind, and I have to deal with that grief.
Yeah. Wow, I love that because as you was talking about that, I also started thinking about a few other things, a few tools that I developed, right? And one of the things that I eliminated was having other people validate,
Yeah.
right? Having other people um, dictate how I grieved, how I healed, how I dealt with a lot of things. And trust me, it
Right.
was it was it was really, really hard, right? Especially as being a man,
Right.
because we're not taught to express ourselves. We're taught to suppress those
Right.
emotions.
Don't
We're
ask for
taught to,
directions
yeah, don't ask
if
for
you're
directions,
lost.
right? They're
Right.
like, hey, you're just gonna have to deal with it. You're just gonna have to keep moving.
Right.
And what I found was, and what a lot of things that I focus on with men is getting themselves out of their own head, out of their own
Yes.
way, right?
Yes.
Because that's a very dangerous place to be.
Yes.
For men and women both, right? When you get trapped in your head, your mind will tell you things and push you in a direction where
Oh yeah.
sometimes it can be very, very dark.
I,
And I want to touch on the darkness a little bit because I've
yeah.
been there a couple of times, right?
Yep.
And we talk about the pandemic with men um, unaliving themselves at an alarming rate. The addiction that comes along with it, the mental health
Right.
disparities that come along with it as well. And as two men who have had to navigate this and found ways, healthier ways of dealing with this, you know, um, how do we reach more men to give them the tools, but surround them with other men like ourselves who
Right.
have the best intentions for them,
Right.
right? And um, to begin to get them to slow down, to think about what's going on, right?
Right.
What's really going on, and let them know that, hey, I'm not asking you for trust. I want to earn your trust, but I
Right.
also want to walk with you as you're navigating this world, right?
Right.
Because it can be a very fickle place for men to be. It really can, and the slightest little things can take us either over one side of the edge or the other side of the edge, right? So,
Right.
what are your thoughts and your opinions on that?
Well, I think exactly what we're doing. I am actively seeking out other relationships with men on the purposeful level to create connections, create collaborations, to create impact, most importantly, and value to be added to the marketplace and to other people. At the end of the day, a simple motto that I always have is leave the person in front of me better off than when I found them. So that's the golden rule. If we could all live that way, life
Right,
and the world, especially with what's spinning around on this globe right now, I'd hope would be a better place with that being a mantra. And if anyone's watching this and don't have those connections, you have to speak up. You have to get out of your own way, in a sense of not just staying in your house locked up playing video games or social media, or just being antisocial, or whatever you end up doing, or turning to different things. Say a level of addiction is going to happen on for anyone. It just varies in what our addictions are, what we're addicted to, in a sense. Some people might be this or this or this, and then someone might be this or that. I'm addicted to exercise, whether that's good, bad, or indifferent. It's caused challenges in my life, being wanting to work out too much with, say, my wife. Hey, you're gonna be gone for 3 hours today riding a bike? What about me, or what about the honeydew list, or what about all these other things that are going on? And that, at one point, had been a challenge that I had to navigate. Even now, it's finding time to work out. I'm leveraging my kids quite a bit, and I'm leveraging my other male relationships to connect in that way and schedule time to move my body and work out and have it be a social interactive experience, and not just doing it by myself, because I'll have a lot more fun. I'll work out a lot harder, and I get something out of it. As I'm giving to them, they're giving to me, and we both leave more enriched. So for guys, you have to actively seek out these type of things. And for the people, say you and I, we have to promote, we have to talk, we have to communicate and share what the underlying message is about self-care, self-help, personal development, taking care of yourself, and why that's important. And if you're doing it, and I'm doing it, and Jay Lewis is doing it, and other people are doing it, we're coming at different angles that people might get more attracted to one message over another. But the point being is that we're all coming together to foster a healthier environment, a healthier level of respect for oneself, a healthier relationship with oneself.
I love that. And what are your thoughts on supplements like vitamins and things like that?
Oh
Because
yeah,
I
if we
think
do
that they
that.
have a place. I do think
Oh,
that they have a place.
sure.
And my philosophy was always your body produces a lot of the things that we already put into our body. I don't overdo it. So
Right.
when I do get my vitamins and I see, oh, take 4 of these pills to get this, I look at it and I go, no, I'm going to take two,
Yeah.
which is going to allow my body to produce the rest in X amount. Because once you put it in there, the body's like, oh, what's this? And you begin to reduce, right? Just like testosterone, just
Right.
like creatine levels, all of these different things. And the one thing I do in excess is like my fish oils, just for
Yeah.
my heart.
Sure.
I take things
Anti-inflammation.
like beetroot for, just for the nitrous oxide in it,
Right.
and things like that, because you got to have good blood flow if you're going to go out into the world, just to help you function
Right.
a lot more. So, what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on supplement people using supplements and things?
Yeah, well, it's certainly, if your body is out of regulation, having
Mm,
supplements can make a lot of sense. Very top level, if you really want to talk about being effective with supplements, is get a blood test and have a blood panel drawn, and then actually have a conversation with the doctor about what vitamins and minerals are you deficient in. So then you know which ones to actually take. That would be step number one. But if you didn't want to do that step, then number two is the basics that I would have anyone consider, not necessarily take, but consider, is a men's one a day, or women's one day if you're a lady listening, doing fish oil. I Studies have shown 1,000 to up to, say, 2,000 milligrams of EPA and DHA combined in fish oil is a good daily amount to take. So you have to look at the nutrition label and see what it is, because you don't want to be taking two pills when you should be taking 5 or 6, because there's just such a low quantity of that inside that. And you think you have a 60-day supply, and you actually have a 20-day supply, because they positioned it at the marketing and the quantity and at the supermarket to be on sale or cheaper, because the quantity per pill is so small. So you have to do some actual research on what is a minimum viable dose for you to do. Up to 2,000 milligrams of fish oil is good, and that helps with brain health and body health for that anti-inflammation. Another one is protein supplements. Super easy, convenient way to get some more protein in your body. we don't need to go bodybuilding mode here and just drinking protein shakes and eating protein bars all the day long, right? Maybe one or two a day could work and supplement what those are. That's exactly what it is, a protein supplement. Not you need to eat real food, all right? So let's do that first. Eat real
Yeah.
food, balanced meals, and have some lean protein sources, lots of vegetables, some fruit, a little bit of starch, and a little bit of healthy fat. That's gonna the nutrition aspect of itself is going to take care of a lot of some of these needs. We have the protein supplement. We've got creatine, widely studied for decades. 5 grams a day of creatine monohydrate. You don't have to get all wrapped up in the marketing again, all the hype. You can just buy the white powder, creatine monohydrate, a scoop a day for strength benefits. For there's a lot of cognitive benefits these days that studies are starting to show, and it's worthwhile, especially for men, to take. You're not going to feel like you're the Incredible Hulk or something like that after you take it, but it's going to be just something else in the say a supplement stack that is going to add benefit to you. Those are some of the main ones. If you don't go outside and you are a indoor hermit, then you might consider vitamin D and K2. Those are up to 5,000 milligrams of that is the recommended amount for that. That would be beneficial to take if you need that. And oftentimes, as we age, our body just either doesn't produce it as so well or doesn't absorb it so well. And you might need to supplement again. That might go back to the doctor. Anything else, you really have to understand why you're taking it.
Right.
CoQ10 or glu whatever. You could go through the giant list of what people spend hundreds of dollars or more a year on, and it might not necessarily be beneficial. I just had a client that they had basically bought out all of the Thorne products, and I just started going back, say, what is this and why are you taking it? What is this and why are you taking it? And I just started asking those basic questions, and at some point on this list, she couldn't answer me. Someone told me, or the internet said that this was good for gut health, or such a vague term, and couldn't. This may be beneficial to help with boosting your energy levels. Well, again, we need to go back to a little bit of research. Places like PubMed or examine.com could be great places to start searching for what would be a minimum viable dose of a supplement and if it's even worthwhile to take. So there you go. There's the short, longish answer to your your short
I
question.
know. I love it. I love it because I definitely understand that. And as you was talking about that, I was because I do. I've been doing a lot of research because I'm looking to start like a simple supplement line
Yeah.
and things like that. And one of the things that has come up has been a really sketchy place to go and try to get into this proprietary blends, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And I have questions. I have
Yep.
questions. And I'm glad I got Coach Brian up here today so we can talk about these things, right?
Yep.
You know, first I want to ask, what are your thoughts on proprietary blends?
Some can be good. Some might not so be good as good. You would want to make sure that you understood what was in the proprietary blend, how much of what it was, just because it throws a bunch of different words into this. Say the green supplement, the athletic greens,
Mhm.
AG1. It's really expensive. You get a monthly, if I remember correctly, it's almost $100 a month to have this green supplement. It's supposed to be the bee's knees and all this. Well, if you go behind the curtain and then go look at some of the other, say, YouTube videos that are talking about the whole marketing part around it, of a lot of the money that you're spending is going toward marketing and advertising or affiliate connections to get it out into the public. So what are you actually buying? Are you buying a green supplement or are you buying this into this supplemental machine that they produce to get this product out into the market? You have to just be conscious of where, and I'm not saying anything for or against, say, athletic greens. It's just search it and you start to see that pretty fast because people talk about it. Right. That'd be the main thing is proprietary blends, is making sure that you have an accurate understanding of what's actually in there and what are the benefits from the ingredients on the list.
And I totally agree with that. There's one other thing I want to add to that too, right? Because they started something back in I want to say early 2000s, where they had to have truth in labeling, right? And after research and talking with some guys who have started their own supplement lines and things like that, they kind of steered away from it because what they found was it was easier for people to say, oh, we could put these things in there, but they wasn't being truthful.
Right. There's a lot of products that aren't true, and you can find that too.
Right. And so I started thinking, and I want to get your thoughts. What was the purpose if you're not going to be truthful of it? Why label that movement truth in labeling? Right? Yeah, the money part, right?
It's what I'm saying? It's always ends up being the money. Ultimately, at the end of the day, is you see this powder that you can produce for cents on the dollar, but charge $20 for, in a sense. And then that ends up being where you get sucked into as, say, someone who might be producing the supplements. Now, not all of them are like that. Again, you have to do your due diligence. You have to look into what you're actually buying and purchasing and understand. It's literally just a marketplace, and a lot of supplements might not have what they actually say they do. And you can actually go find that there are other, say, influencers in a sense that are going out and getting these tested. These big brands tested for, is it truthful that there's this much of that thing in this product? But ultimately, at the end of the day, when we talk about just managing your overall health, supplements are supplemental. We have to have the basics down. Are you going to the gym regularly, or moving your body one way or another? Are you drinking your water? Are you getting sleep? Are you eating a healthy, nutritious, balanced food plan to be able to manage your overall health, regardless of whatever the supplements may or may not do? So we can talk about supplements all day, but if you're not eating enough vegetables in a day or enough protein, or you have no clue about nutrition or how many calories you're eating, it doesn't matter. You can take as many supplements as you want. You are not necessarily going to get the outcome that you want, and you'll often just spend more time and money chasing that route, that pathway, in hopes of the marketed hype around this performance outcome that you get from this supplement.
I love that.
Yeah.
I want to talk about mental well-being
Okay.
For a minute. What are some of the things that Coach Brian does to help keep your mental well-being in check, and to have this energy and to have just this vibrant way about you? Because I'm watching you. I'm like, man, that right there is contagious. I could be around that all day long, right? You know what I'm saying? Because we can laugh, we can move, we can do all of these different things. But for me, I get it. I understand it, right? Now, for those out there, what do you do to keep your mental well-being in check and then keep your attitude the way that it is?
Great question. First and foremost, life is about change, right? I haven't moved outside of swaying and bopping around and shifting my leg position on my stand-up desk that you can't see. But you haven't moved either from where you're at, but the world has been spinning, right? So we've moved quite a bit from the beginning of this conversation. And as a human being, there's seasons of life and seasons of change and transformation, just like the seasons of our year. We have to be ready for those and anticipate them, or to grow with them, or to understand where we are at in those seasons of life. To understand, I'm in a season that is incredibly busy. My buddy says that I do plaid speed. He says, Brian, you're not just going fast. You're doing plaid, Spaceballs plaid, he says. And then one of the
I love the reference.
Yeah, if you've seen the movie, then you see Barf the dog in the RV with the Han Solo guy, and Dark Helmet is gone from light speed into plaid speed, and they go flying past the RV, and all they see is plaid in the sky. And Chris, my buddy who actually works out with me here, he says, "Brian, you do plaid, man." I was like, yes, I knew that life was pretty fast or feeling
Yeah.
fast to me, and or the things and all the things that are happening because of just the piranhas. But that really resonated with me, and occasionally plaid speed catches up with me because, say, just from a an income situation, right? If income dips, that I have 4 kids, $100 bills feel like they fall out of my pocket every day.
Yeah.
So I
Oh
need to
yeah.
make sure my income is consistent. Or let's talk about just the stuff on my at my house, making sure that nothing breaks. Or my kids are now 2 in high school, 2 in middle school. One's about to take his driver's license test. He's driving. He actually is buying literally yesterday, today, or tomorrow. He's buying and getting his first actual phone for himself because he has a first real job this year. And life is super fast for me. So a couple things that keep me grounded are working out. Right. I definitely want to work out 3 or 4 days. I'm the type that I start to get itchy and scratchy, that I need to scratch that itch in a sense of I need to work out. That's just something that has been developed over time from my high school days of loving Rocky montage training montages with him, and Mickey in the gym, and the music and the Eye of Tiger comes on, right? And just enjoying that process. So taking care of myself, knowing that just basic concept of health of drinking this up to 3 times a day is going to help keep me healthy. Prioritizing picking protein and vegetables, some fruit, enough carbs to manage my overall calories, and eating good foods multiple times a day. I always say this, eat enough food to get you to the next time you're gonna eat again. If I'm doing that and I have some thought about planning and preparing, and life is repetitive anyways. I do the same things all the time, and I just have created these habits and these behaviors that make taking care of my body easy. So I don't have to think about that. I don't have to think about my body weight changing significantly over time. I've been in a 5 pound weight range for decades now. And I don't plan on leaving that 5 pound weight range, because then that takes me farther away from what my goals are. Other things, having those gentlemen, I have Dan and Leo are high school buddies that we still connect and communicate with. I work out with Dan, Chris, and Andy. I also work out or run with. Uh, the having them and be able to talk about some of these seasons of life. Certainly have my wife, but she's my wife. I can talk to her about certain things, and then I can leverage certain things against with these gentlemen that we have close relationships, so I can keep myself at an even keel in a sense, and be more preventative in a sense, and not responsive or reactive, which would be even worse, right? I don't want something sneaking up on me, and it's a ghost jumps from behind the boogeyman jumps from behind the corner and scares me. I don't want to be in a reactive situation, so I'm paying attention to my surroundings. One other key thing that I think people miss out on is living in anticipation, looking forward to what life has in store for you, no matter how big or small it is. These are this morning I woke up and I saw 3 hummingbirds at my hummingbird feeder this morning. I literally dead stopped and just stared and watched them, because that brings joy to my life. And I can be in the moment and see them flapping their wings like a million times and just sipping, and fly away. And then another one comes in, fly away. And anytime a hummingbird comes, I literally just stop and just watch in awe, because it's just so magnificent of a creature to be honored, to be shared the presence with, for me. And maybe for someone else, it's something else. Their dog, right? We have a dog, we have 4 cats. But we also do big things. So we got back from a 2-week European vacation with all 6 of us. So we're creating memories together, and I'm going to go on a bike ride with my son. I might run. I'm going to work out. I'm going to, on Friday, we have a play that my three younger kids are in a play camp, theater camp. Friday night, we're going to go and watch them perform. I can look forward to that and live in anticipation of exciting things that will happen in my life. And I think that is a missed opportunity for a lot of people because they let those opportunities just come and go and not actually find whatever is that they need out of those activities or events or whatnot.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
lastly is reading to my daughter. As no matter how tired I am, I sit down and I read to her. And she's 10. At some point, she's not gonna want me to read. I have to cherish those times again. No matter how tired I am, I need to cherish those and be in the moment and engage because she's cute and adorable, and she might not always be that way when she hits the teenager and daddy's little girl turns into just the evolution of who she's becoming.
you talk about teenagers, man.
Yeah,
They change. They
they
change a
do.
lot. Some fierce, don't they? I
Uh,
watch. I watch a lot of my friends go through the teenage years with their kids,
yeah.
and I'm just like, yeah, no.
My son wanted to be on the phone till 2 last night, talking with some people. He's like, I'm socializing. This is what teenagers do. I was like, dude, it's 12. It's bedtime. Say goodnight. If you have to, just say, oh, my pappy. I always joke with him. Just say pappy is making me get off the phone or something. Jeez. But yeah, he
Yeah.
was pushing. He was on there till 1. I had told him like 3 or 4 times, we're done. Wrap it up. But he was pushing my buttons literally what 12 20 less than 24 hours ago or something crazy.
That is that's funny, and it's something. It's definitely I watch my friends go through it, so I'm always living vicariously through them, watching their children grow and into the wonderful human beings that they are. But I see the growing pains too, and I
Oh yeah.
see the arguments. I see the rebelliousness, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
yeah, nope,
Yeah.
better you than me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now you mentioned something,
Yeah.
and I think this is where people have a lot of trouble um, getting into being in the moment,
Right.
right? Not in anticipation of what's coming next, but just being in the moment, letting
But
go of
being
the past
present.
and being present,
Right.
right?
Right.
Because I think some people just get wrapped up into their day-to-day challenges
Yeah.
and they forget, like cherish this moment because when you blink, it's going to be gone just like
Yep.
that, right? And it's what something that I've learned is what you do in those moments,
Yeah.
right? Are you living intentionally, right? Whatever you're doing, are you, as my friend just said, go to on Instagram, just be. Are you just
Right.
being in that moment and being surrounded and being present with the people that are around you, so that not only you can be seen, but they can be seen and heard as well,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
What are your thoughts on that? And
Yeah,
how you doing, Clifton? Thank you for joining in, my brother.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you. We've got the past is behind us. This is my ideology around time and past, present, future. Past is behind us. We want to learn from our mistakes and bring the good memories with us to enhance our presence, our present time, and to help manage the future. But we don't want to live in the bad times because that's past us. We don't have to continually bring that with us. Think of it as in psychology, people think of it as carrying luggage around. You don't need to drag the 1998 version of yourself in a suitcase behind you for 20 years. We can just leave it there and just say, hey, I didn't make a good choice or something happened in that time frame that I can learn from and move forward with. So there's the past. The present is all we have. It's just me and you right now, trying to give as much full attention as I can to you, to give you thoughtful answers and engage and give value to people who are watching this and help them as well. And I struggle with it too. I'm not gonna say that, sunshine and rainbows over here. I have challenges. There's so many time demands with 4 kids, 5 animals, my wife, the demands of a house, the demands of my client load and work, right? We're all juggling things in life. But I can stop and watch a hummingbird. I can stop, put my phone down and connect with my kid. I can choose to be in the moment at any given time because that's the only thing that we actually really have. Time is fleeting. It's we are in a timeline, but this is the only thing that we're experiencing. And then the future, as I already shared, was we should be living in anticipation and building moments of joy and happiness and excitement and looking forward to what is coming. And you literally control what you experience. And if you don't like it, you can change it or you could think about it differently. You have the power to do that as a human being. Your brain is a very powerful machine, and we can upgrade software in a sense to have different mindset or insights or capacity to be able to create a future that is really worth participating or living in and all. So there you go.
I love that, and I want to touch on that just a little bit because I think when you spoke about bringing 1998 version of yourself into the present moment,
Yeah.
that's where a lot of people will find themselves in trouble because they don't know how to let go. And I think
Right.
part of that is because most people spend most time in survival mode. That
Yes.
we often don't see the other side of actually living life, of being in the moment with
Right.
them, because those scars are so deep and they're so painful. And life has a strange way of reminding you what you have gone through,
Yeah.
right? By playing out different scenarios with different people that come into your life that you may not appreciate what they're bringing to your life, right? You may not see the lessons that they're trying to teach you, and so therefore, you hold on to the situation like like it's a baby that needs to be nurtured. And when you turn around again, you got 10, 20 years that you've been nurturing these onsets of trauma and loss and all of
Right.
these different things. And our brain will in turn try to keep us safe. And
Yes.
we as human
Always.
beings, we're so messy that we will take that safety and beat ourselves up with it. We'll turn it around in such a negative way and go, I don't deserve this, and things like that. And I've seen that. Look, man, I've done it.
Yeah.
I've done this several times, right?
Mhm.
And I've just gotten to a place now to where I can catch myself,
Right.
right? As soon as I can feel the negativity, there's something inside of me that says, no, catch this before it reaches the brain. And I can go in there and I can address it and find out probably something else that I need to work on to become the better version of
Mhm.
myself
Right.
as I navigate this beautiful place that we call Earth,
Yep.
right? In order to maximize the best human and have the best human experience that I can have. And like you said, by impacting other people in a better way, but also being of service to other
Right.
people.
Mhm.
Because I think for me, when I'm at service for other people, it's not about me. And that
Right.
makes me feel good that I can
Uh,
contribute to
I
someone
feel you.
else's smile and their laughter or something.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that parallels a lot with, say, the health side of things,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
someone is going through a stressful time. Their coping mechanism is put food in their mouth at whatever quantity or whatever choices, and then their weight goes up. Well, if I can get them to start to understand these patterns of behaviors, interrupt these patterns of behaviors, and then place up in something new, then in that place, then we can start to move in the right direction. I remember good old Tony Robbins once on probably a CD listening to driving around back in the day, but he talked about ACD, the pattern interrupt is what we're talking about here, is just trying to stop this sequential downward spiral in a sense, or going down the rabbit hole, whatever you want to call it, and stop it and go out of it. Well, he would say, hey, you're driving your car and every day you put in the CD and it's a story of your life. Well, it plays and it plays and plays, and you just allow it to play. Well, you could stop, get out, rub that CD on the ground, and then put it back in. It's not going to play. It's going to play something different. I mean, it's been damaged, and it's not going to play that music. Now, that's just a way to say reset and get away from that type of a play. And maybe on the CD it was a melancholy, is more of sad. It was more of coming from an experience that you're saddened about. We can erase it. We can replace some of the tunes. We still can have that sad song in there that reminds us of that time, but doesn't mean we have to relive it. And then we can replace another one with something more joyful, more upbeat, and strategically placing music into our life to get that. As soon as the beat comes on, everybody starts going like this, regardless of how good or bad they're dancing. They start doing this, and even you will have people use music to help change their energy, change their attitude, change their intentions for what they're getting ready to do. Again, fitness example. I'm gonna work out after work, and how often does people say that and they don't do it? Well, if we prime the pump, so to speak, and we give you some caffeine around 1, 2, or 3 o'clock, we have clothes with you to change into before you leave work. We listen to exciting, upbeat, energetic music. It's probably way more likely you're going to make it to the gym after work and do the thing that you're going to do because you pre-framed it with intention, purposely placed acts to help shift your energy in your body. Because no matter how tired you are, you could still have a really great workout if you decided to push through that fatigue and then get moving. And then movement is energy in your blood flow, and then we start to get those hormones and the feel good hormones getting released, endorphins flow, and then you feel great, and the rest of the day is great. And that's usually a strategy I usually have a lot of people do is, let's have here's our work chunk of the day, and then we have this tiny little sliver of opportunity, and then we have the rest of your day. In this tiny sliver of opportunity, let's put in some activity, some exercise, some movement of some purpose to buffer the different times of work life to real life, and get some energy to go into real life, so you don't just sit on the couch the rest of the night and wallow and I'm tired and I don't want to do anything. Well, yeah, you've been sitting all day. Yeah, inertia is a real thing. Body in motion stays in motion, and body rest stays at rest. It's a real physics thing there going on. So we want to keep moving forward in those situations, and we can purposely say set triggers to do that.
I definitely like that. Um, wow, man. I want to say first and foremost, I love speaking with you, man. The knowledge
Yes.
that you share with everyone,
Thank you.
and everything is priceless, you know. And so I only have a few more questions for
Yeah,
you
please. I got
before we
time.
wrap this up.
We're good.
All right. So my first question would be, how can people find you, Coach?
Yeah, I hang my hat at the calltorise.com, and on Instagram you can find me at Coach Brian Parana as well, at the hashtag or whatever, my handle, so to speak. You'll
Yeah.
find me on all the socials and such. And I'm getting on more and more and more podcasts. My goal is to do 100 by the end of the year, and I'm about 40ish in, so I got a lot more opportunities to go seek out and find. And you'll hear me talking about improving health, period. Male, female, doesn't matter. Take better care of yourself to then be able to take care of the people in your life, to whether it's your family, it's your coworkers, it's your business, it's whatever, your animals, all the responsibilities that we have as we age. You can take better care of them, and feel good about yourself, and feel good about what you're doing every day, and have the energy to do it.
I love that. I love that. My next question would be, if Coach had a superpower, what would it be?
Positivity.
Oh, oh, I love it. I love it.
I realized this a long time ago. I said, "Wow, I can make money being personable. This is wonderful. I can just show up and just be Brian and have a good time and help people improve their health and do it through positivity." I always joke with people. I say, "Hey, if we're doing this, we're going to use some humor and sarcasm along the way because those are always great coaching partners to keep this fun, keep this engaging, and keep this purposeful toward improving yourself."
I love that. Final question to you. If you could leave the audience with something, what would you leave them with?
The power of consistency over time. That's definitely always going to be what I would leave anyone with. You are consistent. If you're consistently taking care of yourself, your body will reflect that. It's not magic. If I drink my water, I'm 42. I don't look like I do now when I'm 50. I need to drink water, get enough sleep, eat healthy food, move my body. These are the basics. I just have to consistently do them and hope that nothing else happens in the way, in the time, with say disease or illness or accident or life happening. But at the very minimum, those are things that I personally have control over every single day that I can put into my body and move it. So you have to be consistent at whatever activity you're doing to get to the outcome that you want.
I love that. I love that. And with that being said, because I do have to run, I have to
Yeah,
go to
yeah.
another. I gotta go check out the venue that we've been trying to rent out for an event coming up. Um, I want to say again, thank you for coming up. We got to do this again. Definitely got to
Yeah,
stay in contact.
we
Definitely
can
got to
put
do this again.
we can talk
And
about a lot of different things.
oh man, so much, so much. And with that being said, Coach, thank you for being on the show. We're definitely going to
Yep.
do a part 2 of this, and if I can
Wonderful.
help you connect with other podcasts, if you help me reach that goal of 100 podcasts, because I can
Yes.
get you on a lot more too.
I would
So
love
definitely would love
that.
to connect you with some more people. And with that being said, for everyone who has been tuning in today, thank you so much for tuning in and showing your
Thank you.
support to the
Thank you.
channel. And if you haven't already and you've made it all the way to the end, do me a favor, subscribe, like, comment,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
share with someone out there, right? Help us get that channel out there. Help us get
Yep.
into the algorithm. Help
I'll
us
have
reach
a
lot more
3-day, I'll share with Tony. I have a 3-day fat loss protocol. It's really simple, easy to do. It's laid out step by step, something you can take advantage to. I call it Rise 72. There's obviously nutrition, fitness, but also some mindset stuff in there to really
people.
simple, but super effective. If we can get you to do it for those 3 days, you'll feel a lot better on the other end. So it's Rise 72, and I'll share that too with you guys just for making it this far.
Awesome, awesome. To answer your question, my friend, his contact is in the YouTube channel. So if you go there, all of his information is there. Reach out to him, let him help you get healthy mentally,
Yeah.
physically, emotionally, and spiritually, right? Especially, we haven't even scratched the surface on even fraction of his knowledge that he's been sharing, right? You know what I'm saying? But please get in contact with him. Tell him that Tony sent you. You got a 3-day program. Please check that out as well. With that being said, guys, we're going to wrap up this episode
Yep.
of the Let's
Thank
Talk
you.
About podcast. You guys know who it is. This is Tony Lynch. I'm the host of this podcast. And yes, you guys already know we are on track of reaching our 1,000th episode of the podcast. So stay tuned for that. And we do this every day. Right, you know what I'm saying. So if you miss something, go back to the YouTube channel, check it out. Go and check out some of the guests and reach out to them, because we serve more than just conversations. We serve as a resource for you as well. So don't be afraid to go and reach out to people, find the help that you need and that you deserve to live a happy, healthier life. And let's start the healing process. Let's get you healthy on so many different levels. Coach, again, thank you for being here. For everyone else, we're going to see you guys in the next one. I love you. And as always, thank you guys for your continued support. All right. Peace. We're out.